Pseudo classes and cursor. If you have a page with some links on it and you look at them carefully, you may notice that some of the links that you've visited before are a different color than those you haven't, like purple versus blue typically. Plus, if the mouse is brought over a link, it may change color again or highlight in some other way. In addition, if you click down and don't let the mouse down, then maybe the link may change yet again. Lastly, if you visit some other sites and make these same explorations, you may observe visual differences from site to site. You may conclude that the styling of the elements are being changed, and you will be right. How did the author of the style sheet know which links you've been used already? Pseudo classes is a fancy term for simply being able to refine your CSS selection to something that isn't just another element. Pseudo classes allow us to apply styles to the different states at an element or to various children of an element based on their index, or to other interactions with the browser. So best of all, pseudo classes are easy to use, such as this. So in this example, we see a tag selector A followed by a pseudo class :visited, which consisted of a colon and a word, for example, visited. So this particular CSS rule will be applied to any anchor tag that the user has already visited. So there can be no spaces on either side of the colon. Pseudo classes can be amended onto any CSS selector, not just tag selectors. So the visited pseudo class is usually put on a selector that resolves to an anchor tag. It enables you to define a style for the visited state of the link. For example, if the user has already been to that website, the visited style will be applied. And then we have the hover or active pseudo classes. So the hover pseudo class lets you change the style for an element when the mouse is hovering above it. Here's how you can use the hover pseudo class in the list item, giving it a background color of red. The active pseudo class is applied when the mouse is depressed into its area. If you have two different style boosts, such as this, then they will both be activated when the mouse is over one of the list items. Let's look at this example. So notice that as I hover to each element, the color is light blue, but when I click the element, it turns to red. Nth child pseudo class is very handy. Unlike the pseudo classes we've seen so far, it expects a parameter. The pseudo class always ends with a pair of parentheses with an expression inside. So this expression is simply the term odd or even, just like this. However, there are other advanced possibilities with mathematical equations containing the term n. So this selector is most commonly used to apply transaction ladder styles to tables or lists, just like this. Cursor property. So since we brought the topic of mouse responding pseudo classes, it makes sense to also cover the cursor CSS property. So this property lets you change the cursor that is displayed when the mouse is over the element in question. This does not have to be relegated to a hover style. It can be applied anywhere. Though if you want to change the cursor when an element is depressed, set the cursor property in the context of an active style. There are many possible values for cursor property. Their exact representation may vary slightly from browser to browser. Common values include default, pointer, text, move, and graph. In addition, some browsers support a custom image as well.